As Muslim Americans are continuing to be demonized by the Western media as the greatest threat that the Western world faces, particularly the United States, as supposedly the biggest target of religious Islamic fundamentalism, a new study now shows that there is actually a greater threat from mass shootings in the United States than actual homegrown terrorism. 14 Muslim Americans committed or were charged with terrorist crimes in 2012, down from 21 in 2011, 26 in 2010, and 49 in 2009. According to the fourth annual report by North Carolina's Triangle Center on Terrorism and Homeland Security, of the 14 offenders in 2012, only one was accused of executing a violent attack, the bombing of a Social Security office in Casa Grande, Arizona. The other perpetrators were arrested at an early stage of their terrorist plots. The author of the research, sociology professor Charles Kurzman, who had been studying the issue for the past 3 years, concluded that the number of Muslim Americans indicted for support of terrorism, financing false statements and their connections with the terrorist plots and organizations, aside from violent plots, fell from 27 individuals in 2010 to 8 in 2011, bringing the total to 462 since 9/11. Now, despite these newly revealed facts, we are well aware that both legal and illegal surveillance is being carried out against Islamic communities throughout the United States on the idea that they are a threat to the community and that homegrown terrorism is the greatest threat that the United States face. But here we can perfectly see that it's actually the acts of lone shooters, whether they be right-wing zealots or people with mental illness, and more often mental illness than anything else. What's happening here is the Islamic communities are still being targeted because the imperialist war machine still requires us to feel a need for the war machine to continue to go out and attack Islamic countries and justify funding actions in other Middle Eastern countries like Syria in order for their own profit. The point of this continuing to demonize our domestic Islamic population in order to whip up fear with enough people so that we will go along with the continued wars, so that we will continue to accept or justify in our own minds the occupations of both Afghanistan and Iraq, when we can clearly see our own domestic issues surrounding firearms and a lack of mental health services is leading to many more violent deaths.
无产阶级，我们的革命，为救和。